The signal and first contact. The silence of deep space was broken by an urgent alert that echoed through the command deck of the UES Thunderbolt. Captain Alina Reyes looked up from her tactical display, her brow furrowing as Lieutenant Zheng's voice cut through the quiet hum of the bridge. "Captain, we're picking up something unusual on long-range comms," Zheng said, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "It's definitely not human in origin." Reyes approached the communication station, her movement slightly heavier than it would have been on Earth. At 43, she carried the confidence of someone who had fought in the Mars Rebellion and survived the Neptune crisis. Her dark hair was streaked with silver, and the scar that ran from her right temple to her jaws served as a reminder of humanity's violent path to the stars. "Put it through," she ordered. The bridge speakers crackled with a strange melodic language interspersed with mathematical sequences. The patterns repeated in variations that even without translation conveyed desperate urgency. "It's a distress signal," said Commander Ezekiel Jackson, the ship's XO. His massive frame loomed behind Reyes, a product of being born and raised in Earth's 1.3G regions. "The mathematical sequences are universal. Someone's in serious trouble." "How far?" Reyes asked. "Approximately 12 light-years from our position, Captain," replied the ship's AI. Athena. A holographic star map materialized in the center of the bridge. "The signal originates from the Cygnus arm, specifically from a star system we've designated HC 217. It's just beyond the edge of previously charted space." Reyes studied the projected course. The Thunderbolt had been on a routine patrol along the frontier of human space. Responding would take them well beyond their assigned sector. "How old is this signal, Athena?" "Based on signal degradation patterns, approximately 9 days, 17 hours. 9 days. In space combat, 9 days could mean the difference between salvation and finding nothing but debris." Reyes made her decision. "Send a message to Fleet Command. We've received an alien distress call and request permission to investigate. Attach the signal data." 4 hours later, the response came through. "Permission granted, Captain Reyes. Reinforcements are being dispatched. Proceed with caution. First contact protocols are in effect." Within 24 hours, 2 additional human vessels rendezvoused with the Thunderbolt. The UES Halcyon, a medical frigate commanded by Captain Sado, and the UES Ares, a heavily armed destroyer under the command of Captain Okafor. The 3 ships gathered in the Thunderbolt's holographic war room, their captains' avatars standing around the tactical display. "The signal appears to be from a species we've never encountered," Reyes explained. "Athena has made some progress on translation. They call themselves the Astrali. They're under attack by something called the Vrox Collective." "Any visual data?" asked Okafor, his Nigerian accent pronounced even through the holographic projection. "Limited," Reyes replied, gesturing for Athena to display what they had. Fragmented images appeared, gleaming spiral structures burning, elegant ships being torn apart, and brief glimpses of slender, bioluminescent beings fleeing from shadowy, multi-limbed forms. "The Astrali appear to be a peaceful, technologically advanced civilization," said Dr. Ivanova, the Thunderbolt's xenobiologist. "Their physiology suggests evolution on a low-gravity world with minimal environmental pressures, no natural predators, limited resource competition." "And the attackers?" Captain Seto inquired. "The Vrox Collective," Ivanova continued, "show all the hallmarks of evolved predators. Exoskeletons, multiple appendages for grasping prey, compound sensory organs, classic apex species traits." Commander Jackson snorted. "So the wolves found the sheep." "That's one way of putting it," Reyes replied. "But now the shepherds have arrived." 3 days later, the human fleet dropped out of FTL at the edge of the HC 217 system. What they saw confirmed their worst fears. The 4th planet, clearly once highly developed with orbital structures and satellite networks, was partially burning. Debris fields cluttered the orbital paths, and energy weapons flashed in the distance as smaller ships fled from larger insectoid vessels. All hands to battle stations, Reyes ordered. Deploy sensor drones. I want complete tactical awareness before we engage. The bridge transformed as crew members activated combat protocols. Armor plating slid into place over vulnerable systems. Weapon batteries came online, and the ship's AI distributed processing power to defensive systems. Captain, Lieutenant John called out, "We're being hailed by one of the smaller vessels. It matches the signature of the original distress call." On screen, the main display flickered before revealing a being unlike any human had ever officially encountered. The Australia had pearlescent skin that pulsed with gentle bioluminescence. Its large, multifaceted eyes took up most of its delicate face, and it had 4 slender arms that moved with graceful precision. Behind it, others of its kind tended to wounded companions in what appeared to be an overcrowded escape vessel. The translation software worked to convert the musical language into English. "You," responded, the alien said, its voice fluctuating through octaves no human could achieve. "We did not believe anyone would come. I am Captain Alina Reyes of the United Earth ship Thunderbolt. We received your distress signal and have come to help." The Australi's skin pulsed with bright patterns. "I am Lyria Voss, third overseer of the scientific conclave. The Vrox Collective attacked without warning 3 cycles ago. They destroy our worlds. They take our people. What do they want?" Reyes asked. "Resources, territory, and us. They harvest living beings for biological material. We cannot fight them. Our species never developed weapons of mass destruction. We believed in peaceful expansion." Reyes nodded. It was a common enough story across the galaxy. Species that evolved without significant threats often developed impressive technology, but lacked the brutal edge that came from evolving on a death world like Earth. "Permission to come aboard your vessel, Overseer. We need to understand exactly what we're facing." The alien hesitated. "You are different from us. Your physiology might be distressing to my people." "Different how?" Commander Jackson asked. "You evolved on a high-gravity world with extreme environmental conditions and predators. Your bodies are dense with muscle, your bones reinforced. You carry redundant biological systems. To us, you are terrifying." Reyes had never considered humans particularly intimidating. Earth was just home, a world of oceans and forests, deserts and mountains. But through the eyes of a species that had evolved without Earth's challenges, humans must seem like monsters, creatures built to survive conditions that would kill an Australi instantly. "We mean you no harm," Reyes assured. "We've come to help." After a long pause, Lyria Voss nodded. "You may board." The Thunderbolt dispatched a shuttle carrying Reyes, Jackson, and Dr. Ivanova. As they docked with the Australia vessel, they got their first close look at the aliens. And the aliens got their first close look at humans. The Australi collectively moved back as the humans entered their ship. At first, Reyes thought it was fear, but Ivanova quickly identified it as something else. "It's our gravity frames," she said quietly. "We're creating a gravitational disturbance as we move." The humans wore personal gravity generators that simulated Earth's pull regardless of what environment they were in. To the low-gravity adapted Australi, it must have felt like walking near a small black hole. "Deactivate gravity compensation," Reyes ordered. As the subtle field around them dissipated, the humans immediately felt the difference. The Australi ship maintained approximately 0.4 G, making the human visitors feel unnaturally light. To demonstrate their adaptability, Reyes took a gentle leap, rising nearly 2 meters before slowly descending. The display had the desired effect. The Australi's luminescence pulsed with what Dr. Ivanova's translator interpreted as surprise and cautious admiration. "You adjust to our gravity so easily," Lyria Voss observed. "Humans are adaptable," Reyes replied simply. "Now, show us what we're facing." The Australi led them to their command center, where holographic displays showed the system and the Vrock's forces. The Vrock's ships were dark, angular vessels that resembled enormous insects. Their movements were perfectly coordinated, suggesting either exceptional training or some form of hive mind communication. They attacked without warning or provocation. Lyria Voss explained. First, they disabled our orbital defenses with precise strikes. Then they began landing on our colonies. They take resources, technology, and people. How many of your people have they taken? Jackson asked. Thousands. None have returned. Dr. Ivanova studied the biological data the Astrali provided. Captain, I believe I understand why they're taking the Astrali. Their cellular structure contains unique bioluminescent properties and regenerative capabilities unlike anything we've seen. The Vrocks appear to be harvesting these properties. Reyes observed the tactical display with narrowed eyes. How many ships do they have? 23 combat vessels and 1 central command ship, Lyria Voss replied. The command ship is where they take our people. As they discussed strategy, an alarm sounded throughout the Astrali vessel. On the displays, 3 Vrock ships broke away from the main fleet and began moving toward their position. They detected us, Jackson stated. Reyes activated her comm link. Thunderbolt, this is the captain. We have Vrock's vessels approaching the Astrali refugee ship. Move to intercept and prepare for combat operations. To Lyria Voss, she said, get your people to safety. We'll handle this. The Astrali seemed confused. You will fight them. Directly, there are 3 warships. Reyes smiled, and for the first time, she understood why the Astrali found humans unsettling. It wasn't a smile of joy, but of anticipation, a predator's expression before the hunt. 3 ships isn't a problem, she said. It's an opportunity to show them what happens when you prey on those who can't fight back. As they returned to their shuttle, Lyria Voss called after them. Why would you risk yourselves for strangers? Your species has no obligation to ours. Reyes paused at the airlock. Because someone asked for help, she said simply, and because humans don't like bullies. Aboard the Thunderbolt, Reyes resumed command as the human ships moved into formation. The bridge hummed with controlled energy as the crew prepared for humanity's first interstellar combat against an alien aggressor. All weapons systems online, reported Tactical Officer Lieutenant Farouk. Kinetic batteries charged, missile tubes loaded, point defense grid active. Launch combat drones, Reyes ordered. I want eyes on those Vrock ships from all angles. As the small, unmanned vessels streaked away from the Thunderbolt, Reyes addressed her fellow captains through the command link. Captain Sado, move the Halcyon behind that moon and prepare to receive casualties. Captain Okafor, take the Ares and circle wide. When we engage, hit them from behind. Thunderbolt will draw their attention. Understood. Both captains responded in unison. Reyes took her seat in the command chair, feeling the familiar weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Let's show the galaxy what happens when you send a distress call and humans answer. The Thunderbolt surged forward, its powerful engines pushing it toward the approaching Vrock's vessels. Behind them, the Astrali watched in awe as humans, Deathworlders, moved deliberately toward danger instead of away from it. The first battle between humanity and the Vrock's collective was about to begin. Deathworlders unleashed. The Vrock's vessels approached with mechanical precision, their formation unchanged despite the human ship's advance. They moved as a perfect triangle, maintaining exact distances between each vessel, a level of coordination that spoke of either exceptional discipline or something more concerning. They're not reacting to our approach, Lieutenant Jung observed. No evasive maneuvers, no tactical adjustments. They don't consider us a threat, Commander Jackson replied. They've never encountered humans before. Captain Rice studied the enemy formation on the tactical display. That's their first mistake. She tapped her comm link. All hands, prepare for combat. Lieutenant Farouk, target their propulsion systems. Commander Alvarez, ready boarding teams. We may need to retrieve astralic prisoners. Throughout the Thunderbolt, crew members moved with practiced efficiency. In the armory, Marines checked their exosuits, combat armor designed to enhance human strength and endurance even further. In the hangar bay, pilots climbed into their Raptor fighters, neural interfaces linking them directly to their craft. Captain HFY announced, "The Vrox vessels are charging weapons. Energy readings suggest plasma-based technology." Reyes nodded. Tactical analysis. Their weapons require approximately 3.7 seconds to reach full charge. There is a 2.1-second window after discharge before they can fire again. Exploit that window, Lieutenant Farouk. Fire kinetic batteries the moment they discharge. The Vrox fired first, 3 lances of blinding energy streaking toward the Thunderbolt. But humans had been preparing for space combat since long before they achieved it. Evasive pattern Delta, Reyes ordered calmly. The massive warship moved with surprising agility, rotating along its axis to present its smallest profile to the incoming fire. 2 plasma beams missed entirely. The third glanced off the reinforced hull, leaving a scorched streak but doing minimal damage. "Now," Reyes commanded. The Thunderbolt's kinetic batteries fired, not energy weapons, but hypervelocity tungsten rods accelerated to a significant fraction of light speed. The Vrox, adapted to energy-based combat, had prioritized energy shields over physical armor. The human weapons bypassed their defenses entirely. The tungsten rounds tore through the lead Vrox ship's propulsion system. Secondary explosions rippled along its hull as atmosphere vented into space. Simultaneously, the UES Ares appeared from behind the planet's moon, flanking the Vrox formation. Captain Okafor wasted no time, launching a barrage of missiles that overwhelmed the second ship's point defenses. "Sir," John called out, "the third Vrox vessel is attempting to retreat. They're sending a signal to their main fleet. Jam their communications," Reyes ordered. HFY analyzed that signal pattern. "I want to know how they coordinate." As the battle unfolded, Dr. Ivanova studied the sensor data flowing in. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual neurological signatures from the Vrox ships. It appears they may have a networked consciousness, a literal hive mind." Jackson leaned over her station. "If they're networked, what happens if we disrupt the network?" "Theoretically, confusion, disorientation, possibly even complete system failure. But we'd need to get close to their command ship to affect the entire collective." Reyes considered this as the disabled Vrox vessels drifted powerless. "Commander Alvarez, modify your mission parameters. Your team will board the lead Vrox vessel, retrieve any Astrala prisoners, and gather intelligence on their communication systems." "Yes, Captain," Alvarez responded over the comm. "Team is prepped and ready." Within minutes, 3 assault shuttles launched from the Thunderbolt, streaking toward the damaged Vrox ship. Commander Sofia Alvarez led 20 Marines, all veterans of Earth's unification wars, or the space piracy conflicts that followed humanity's expansion to the stars. As the shuttles approached, Reyes opened a channel to Lyriavos. "We've disabled 3 Vrox vessels and are sending teams to rescue any prisoners. What can you tell us about the interior layouts of their ships?" The Astrali's voice came through, tinged with disbelief. "You defeated them so easily." "Not easily," Reyes corrected. "We studied their weapons systems and exploited a weakness. Now we need information to save your people." The Astrali quickly transmitted what little they knew about Vrox vessel designs. It wasn't much, but it was enough for HFY to generate a rough schematic for the boarding teams. Aboard the lead assault shuttle, Commander Alvarez briefed her Marines as they prepared for breaching. "Gravity will be approximately 1.3 g, based on the Vrox physiology. Atmosphere is breathable, but high in nitrogen. Keep your helmets sealed anyway. We don't know what biological agents they might deploy." The Marines nodded, checking their weapons one final time. Unlike the energy weapons favored by most space-faring species, human combat doctrine had retained kinetic weapons, firearms that had evolved from gunpowder to electromagnetic acceleration, but still followed the basic principle of launching a physical projectile. Remember, Alvarez continued, primary objective is the rescue of astrolite prisoners. Secondary objective is gathering intelligence on their communication systems. Tertiary objective is bringing back alive Vrox for study, if possible. The shuttle docked with a precision breach against the Vrox hull. Explosive charges blew an entry point, and the Marines poured through into alien territory. From the Thunderbolt's bridge, Rise monitored the operation through helmet cameras. The interior of the Vrox vessel was dark, organic-looking, with corridor walls that resembled insect carapaces more than metal bulkheads. The air was thick with a greenish mist. Environmental analysis, one of the Marines reported. Atmosphere contains sedative compounds, likely designed to keep prisoners docile. They moved deeper into the ship, encountering surprisingly little resistance. The few Vrox they encountered seemed disoriented, their movements erratic without the coordinating network connection. They function as drones without the hive link, Alvarez observed. Limited individual intelligence. 20 minutes into the mission, they found the prison section. Transparent cells lined the walls, each containing Astrali captives in various states of distress. Some had been partially dissected, their bioluminescent tissues harvested while they were still alive. Med Team, Priority 1, Alvarez ordered, her voice tight with controlled anger. As the Marine medics began freeing and treating the prisoners, she led a smaller team toward what ATHENA had identified as a potential communication hub. The central chamber contained a pulsating organic mass connected to mechanical interfaces, a biological computer of incredible complexity. We found their network node, Alvarez reported to the Thunderbolt. Dr. Ivanova, are you seeing this? Remarkable. Ivanova's voice came through. It's a biological quantum computer. The Vrox have integrated their own neural tissue into their ship systems. Can we disable it? Rise asked. Better, Alvarez replied. We can reprogram it. Lieutenant Park is our xenotech specialist. Park was already interfacing with the system, his neural link carefully isolated behind multiple firewalls. It's similar to some of the biosynthetic systems we've experimented with. I can introduce a cascading error that should propagate through their entire network. Do it, Rise ordered. Park uploaded the virus, a simple but elegant piece of code designed to create a feedback loop in the Vrox neural network. The effect was immediate. Throughout the captured ship, the remaining Vrox collapsed, their coordinated movements dissolving into spasms. Captain, Athena announced on the Thunderbolt, I'm detecting unusual activity in the main Vrox fleet. Their formations are breaking down. On the tactical display, Rise watched as the perfect precision of the Vrox Armada gave way to chaos. Ships drifted out of formation, some colliding with others. The massive command vessel at the center seemed to list to one side, its engines firing erratically. They're vulnerable, Rise said. All ships, Battle Formation Alpha. Target the command vessel. The human fleet moved as one. 3 warships against 20 disabled alien vessels. But unlike the Vrox, humans didn't rely on a hive mind. Each ship operated independently while coordinating through secure channels, each captain making their own decisions within the framework of the larger strategy. Captain Seto's Halcyon hung back, preparing to receive the rescued Astrali. Captain Okaffer's heirs took point, its heavy weapons targeting the command ship's engines. The Thunderbolt moved between them, its point defense systems clearing a path through the confused Vrox fleet. Boarding teams report all surviving Astrali secured, Lieutenant Zhang announced. Shuttles returning to the Halcyon now. Rise nodded. Once they're clear, concentrate fire on the command ship's communication array. Let's make sure they can't re-establish their network. The human vessels unleash a coordinated barrage, kinetic rounds, missiles, and focused EMP bursts designed to overload both electronic and biological systems. The Vrox command ship's outer hull cracked under the assault, exposing its inner chambers to space. We're detecting a massive energy buildup in the command vessel, HFY warned. Possible self-destruct sequence. All ships pull back to safe distance, Rais ordered. The human fleet retreated just as the Vrock's command ship detonated in a blinding flash. The shockwave rippled outward, damaging the nearest Vrock's vessels and sending debris scattering across the system. In the aftermath, the remaining Vrock ships drifted aimlessly, their crews incapacitated by the neural feedback. The threat had been neutralized. Aboard the Halcyon, Dr. Ivanova worked with the Astrali healers to treat the rescued prisoners. To her surprise, the Astrali regenerative abilities were even more remarkable than initially thought. With proper care, even the most severely injured could recover completely. Captain Rais joined Lyria Voss on the observation deck, watching as human engineering teams began helping the Astrali repair their damaged habitats. "Your people fight like nothing we have ever witnessed," Lyria Voss said, its bioluminescence pulsing with what the translator interpreted as awe. "Not just your technology, but your adaptability. The way you think individually yet act collectively." Rais smiled slightly. Humans evolved on a world that tried to kill us daily. Predators, diseases, natural disasters. We survived it all by working together while thinking independently. It made us what we are. "Deathworlders," Lyria Voss said. "That is what other species call beings like you, those who evolved on harsh planets." "We prefer to think of ourselves as survivors," Rais replied. 3 days later, as the human fleet prepared to depart, representatives from the Astrali Scientific Conclave presented Captain Rais with a data crystal containing star charts of regions unknown to human explorers. "You have given us something beyond price, our lives and future," the Astrali High Overseer said during the formal ceremony. "In return, we offer knowledge and friendship." The stars marked in these charts contain peaceful civilizations like our own, who trade in ideas rather than weapons. Rais accepted the gift with appropriate gravity. "And we offer protection. The distress beacon we're installing in your system is linked directly to Earth's defense fleet. If the Vrocks or anyone else threatens you again, we'll know immediately." As the ceremony concluded, Commander Jackson approached Rais privately. "Word of this has already spread through the nearest star systems, Captain. They're calling us the Guardian Deathworlders. Apparently, there's quite a bit of discussion about whether that's terrifying or reassuring." Rais laughed. "It can be both. Sometimes the most dangerous thing in the forest is exactly what you want guarding your door." Later, as the human fleet broke orbit and prepared for the jump back to Earth space, Captain Alina Reyes recorded her final log entry regarding the incident. "First contact with the Astrali has been established, and a mutual defense pact initiated. The threat posed by the Vrock's collective has been neutralized for now, though long-range monitoring is recommended. The Astrali themselves pose no threat to Earth or human colonies. Indeed, their scientific knowledge may prove invaluable to our continued expansion. As for the broader implications, today marks humanity's first military action in defense of another sentient species. We have announced our presence to the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as defenders. Many species may fear us for our strength, born from Earth's harsh conditions, but others, like the Astrali, will value us for the same reason. This is how humanity finds its place among the stars, not by demanding respect, but by earning it. One answered distress call at a time. The Thunderbolt's engines flared as it accelerated away from the Astrali homeworld, its mission complete. Behind them, the bioluminescent patterns of gratitude from the planet's surface were visible even from orbit. A constellation of thanks from a species that now understood they were not alone in the dangerous dark of space. Somewhere out there, other civilizations would be watching, learning that there was a species of Deathworlders who, against all evolutionary logic, had developed not just the capacity for violence, but also the compassion to use that capacity in defense of others. It was a lesson the Vrock's collective had learned too late, a lesson the galaxy would not soon forget. When the weak call for help, humans answer. And when humans answer, the predators learn fear.